This video is brought to you by 28 Mobile. What's up everybody, this is Danny. Today we're going to be unboxing and looking at the brand new LG G3. Now this is the new flagship for 2014 and I was able to get my hands on it a little bit early thanks to 28mobile.com. So make sure you check out that website and I'll leave that link in the description section below. Now I don't know about you, but the LG G2 was one of my favorite flagships of last year, and this is the highly anticipated model that's replacing it, and it brings a lot of new hardware and software features to the table for 2014, including a new 5.5-inch Quad HD display which has over 530 pixels per inch, incredible, and a new 13 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization and a first laser focus. So let's go ahead and open this box and see what else comes with it. There is the G3. Let's go ahead and put that to the side and see what else comes in the box. Now I have a little confession to make. I couldn't make this video for about 3 days, so I took it out of the box and I had to film me taking off this screen protector that's actually on here. I didn't want it on here, so I took it off, and it's also protected by some plastic on all 4 sides here just to make sure that it's fresh when you take it out of the box. The one thing I made sure was to record the first boot up because a lot of people like to see that. So you get the LG splash screen here with powered by Android on the bottom. Now the only reason you're seeing this at all is because this is the Korean version and this is a Korean carrier, and then you'll see that it goes right to the setup screen. So very fast on the boot up. Alright, so back to the unboxing. Now there's going to be a lot of Korean documentation in here, and of course if you're in another country or in the US when you get the carrier versions, you're not going to get this documentation. There's some stuff about the Circle case and some more accessories, and you also get the Korean startup guide, which has a lot of pictures in it, and it's kind of colorful, kind of cartoonish, but of course you will not be able to read a lot of this unless you're Korean. Up next, we have the typical micro USB to USB cord that we have seen on almost every Android phone today, but what's not typical are these premium headphones, and these are the Quad Beats 2 headphones, and I think they came pre-packaged with some of the other LG flagships. I can't wait to use them. I will let you know how they sound in the full review, and here are some earbuds as well. What's awesome about this Korean edition is that it comes with 2 3,000 milliamp batteries. So I think that the US should definitely take note of this, because if you have a removable battery, then it's great to have 2 of them. And it doesn't stop there. It actually comes with this awesome accessory. This is a external battery charger, and if you look on the side here, that's where you slot in your second battery, and on the back there is a micro USB connection. So you just take that micro USB to USB cord and plug it into a power source, and you are charging your second battery. So very awesome accessory, and here also is a wall plug for another country. So if you plan to import this, then power bricks are fairly easy to get, very cheap, so don't worry about that. But there is the LG G3 right there. This is the white edition. It does come in a variety of colors, so make sure you get the one that you like. But I thought the white one was very attractive, and look at these bezels right here, super thin, so attractive. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's go ahead and look at it versus the Oppo Find 7 or 7a, and you can tell that even though they both have 5.5-inch displays, that the LG G3 is much shorter than the Find 7 or 7a, and they do have a different feeling on the back. Even though they're both plastic, they both feel different on the back. The G3 is also much lighter than the Oppo Find 7 or 7a. Now let's go ahead and compare it to the HTC One M8, and even though that the M8 has a 5-inch display, they are about the same height. So that goes to show you how much engineering went into the G3, because it's packing a 5.5-inch screen in that same space. Now look at the iPhone 5s next to it. It looks like a toy, like it does with most Android smartphones out there right now. So there is the obligatory iPhone 5s size comparison. So here is the G3 all fired up, and that's that 5.5-inch HD IPS display at over 530 pixels per inch, and it is covered by Corning Gorilla Glass 3. You can awaken the screen with a double tap, and you can also turn off the screen the same way, which I really love, and I think that's a very useful feature. And there's also a new animation here on the lock screen, which I thought I would show you. Now, this is the first 2K or Quad HD display that I've ever seen, so I was so excited to take it out of the box and fire it up. And when I did, don't get me wrong, it is a great looking display, incredible, very sharp, and you can see the extra sharpness here on the home screen and where it's optimized for you to see the extra pixels per inch. But when you put it next to a 1080p display, it's fairly hard to tell the extra pixels there, since even the HTC One M8 has, what, 440 some pixel per inch. It's really high, but there is a noticeable difference, and the best way I can explain it is it's like that this display is printed on the top. When you're looking at the colors and the icons, it just feels closer to the screen. Looks like it's kind of popping out at you, and it is a fantastic screen. So I think that you will not be disappointed whatsoever with this display. It's probably the best display that I've ever seen on a mobile device so far, and a lot of people that have the LG G3 right now, they definitely agree with me. This is a fantastic display. So let's hope that developers will actually start to optimize for this resolution, and let's see what it can do when this type of resolution starts becoming more widespread. If you watched my LG G2 review, then you will know that I'm not a huge fan of the LG skin at all on top of Android. I thought it was extremely cluttered. It was just hard for me to use. A lot of things got in the way, but I'm happy to say that this version of Android 4.4.2, which is also skinned, it's much lighter though. As you can see here, it's not as cluttered, it's more functional, and I definitely find it to be pretty snappy because it is being powered by the Snapdragon 801 processor with 3GB of RAM and the Adreno 330 GPU. Now, some markets will have a 2GB variant, but we're not sure which markets those are quite yet because it's not released, so we'll have to find out which markets get the 2GB version. But look at the actual notification tray itself. It's nice and cleaned up. It's not all cluttered like it was before with a bunch of settings menus and the Q slide apps everywhere. I'm definitely happier with this version of LG software, so kudos to them for cleaning this up and simplifying the user experience. The one thing that I still think manufacturers are lagging behind in is the way that these settings are aggregated and organized, and some of the things that should be very easy to disable, like the dual clock, and some of the other things are just buried in some sub menus and you have to do some different stuff, should be much more obvious. And this is not just LG's problem, obviously, this is Samsung's and other Android manufacturers, so that's just my little rant right there. But if you want to customize, the LG skin is very customizable from the lock screen to the animation, so you'll have a lot of different choices here. Now, if you plan to import this device, it will work on the AT&T network. Now, I have not tried it on T-Mobile, but on AT&T, if you go into the mobile networks and change the APN from PTA to phone and register it on the AT&T network, it will fully work along with LTE connectivity. I've had absolutely no problems with the AT&T network since I've had this Korean unlocked model. Now, going back to customizability, knock code is here. This is a different security pattern for your lock screen. I know you've seen this before on other LG devices, so of course it would show up on the G3. And if you use the up and down volume rockers in the back, if you hold the volume up button, it will launch the LG Notes app. So that's nice of a quick shortcut for the back. And if you hold down the volume down button, then it will also launch the camera. So nice shortcuts to the buttons on the back. Also on the back, you will find a 13 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization, and right next to that, you will find an industry first, which is laser focus. And let me tell you, just from my experience, it is a fantastic autofocus system. Now, it's really on point, it's quick, it's got multi-focus points, and from my experience, it's one of the best in the industry. The camera software itself is very simplified, and you can see all the resolutions listed there. So 13 megapixel 4x3, or you can get a wide 10 megapixel shot. And on the video side, you can see UHD support or 4K video recording, which is very nice. So I will definitely be recording some full reviews with the LG G3. There are some voice commands there to take pictures with, and there's also HDR right up there. So you can toggle this on or off, but what's awesome is you can also get HDR auto. So that's nice if you want to do that, but for my testing purposes, I'm turning the HDR off. Now there's something very similar to Samsung and HTC, which is Magic Focus. This is the same thing where you can focus after you take the shot. So if you take the shot here, you will know there's just a little bit of lag here with focus. And if you actually go to look at the picture, then it will process it. And I thought there would be a much bigger lag here, but it's actually faster than the Samsung camera app, and it seems to work very well so far. So I'll let you know in the full review how this actually works out and how it compares to the other flagships. And there's also a little slider on the side if you don't want to tap on the screen to refocus. The one thing I was bummed out about are the manual controls for the G3 camera, because there aren't any. Hopefully they add these in some kind of a future firmware update, because I would like to have a little bit more control of the camera, especially exposure and white balance. So hopefully they will add this in a future update. So there's dual camera. If you actually like that, if you vlog a lot, that might be a cool thing for you to have. Here are a few sample images from the G3's camera, and let me tell you, on first impressions, I am really impressed with the G3's camera. Now, under regular lighting conditions, these are some of the best pictures that I've ever taken off of a mobile device. You can see it's very sharp, the colors are accurate, and as I was telling you before, the autofocus is so good that it is a pleasurable picture taking experience. Good macro shots, good colors even indoors, and in outdoors you also get a good dynamic range as well. Now with the indoor or low light photography, just from first impressions, I'm not that impressed with it, but I'll definitely test it out more and let you know in the full review. I'll take a lot of dark or indoor pictures to share with you guys in the full review. This is a stabilized 4K video sample off of a tripod, and it looks fantastic, but the camera also has optical image stabilization. So if you want to know what that looks like without a tripod, make sure you watch my 4K video samples coming up very soon. So here is an audio and video sample from the G3. Another thing I wanted to touch on was the multimedia experience of the LG G3. Now it is being powered by the Adreno 330 GPU along with a quad-core Snapdragon 801 processor. So even with that extra PPI, a lot of these games and different things do not take advantage of the extra pixels on the screen. So it's going to perform just like any other Android flagship would right now. So I'm playing Asphalt 8 on here, runs buttery smooth, looks fantastic on the screen, and the chipset has no problems playing it. So if you are a big gamer, then I don't think you'll have a problem at all with the G3. Another improvement that I'm definitely happy about is that back speaker. Now the G2 had a terrible back speaker. It didn't sound good, it was really low and made for a terrible multimedia viewing experience, but this speaker is much louder, it sounds fuller. Now it doesn't sound like the HTC One M8, don't get me wrong, but it is a much improved speaker and that's definitely better for this new flagship. The last thing I want to talk about is the build quality and design. And the design is actually very simple and I like it. The sides, there's really nothing to them. The bottom has the micro USB and the 3.5mm headphone jack and the primary microphone. Up top there is an IR blaster, and on the back there are the same up and down buttons and the power button. They are improved though, the tactility is much better, and you see that awesome 13 megapixel camera, the laser focus, and the dual LED flash. On the back bottom, you see the LG logo and that single speaker, which is much improved. Exclusive to the Korean model, there is a TV antenna on the top right corner, and man, I wish this worked for the United States, but it does not. And the most questionable build material is probably the back of the phone, and it is plastic, but if you look at it, it looks like brushed metal, right? But they put a layer on top of that plastic to make it look like metal. And I personally like it, but there is a downside to it. It is a bit slippery in the hand. Now, it is not HTC One M8 slippery, but it is quite slippery. Now, the good thing about the plastic back, it's removable and it exposes the 3000 milliamp battery, so very easily replaceable. And it also has an SD card slot that goes up to 128 gigabytes, so that is fantastic. Now, don't be fooled, the back got NFC on it, and I thought it actually had wireless charging, the Qi wireless charging, but but it does not have that, and you have to get a separate accessory for that. I think the Circle case has that ability, so that is a bummer there. But this plastic back does not feel as flimsy as the Samsung back, so that is a good thing. It does feel a little bit more sturdy when it's put on. A lot of you were asking me on Twitter, how is the battery life on the G3? This is my buying decision here. I need good battery life. Now, today my battery use has been extremely heavy because I shot a ton of 4K video. Now, if you look at my battery usage, it's at about 8.5 hours. And if you look at my screen on time, it's actually fairly impressive. It's almost 3 hours of screen on time on full brightness. So this is not auto, this is not halfway, this is full brightness. So 8.5 hours, not too bad. Now, the other 3 days, I've been getting about 12 hours of battery life on this. So for me, 12 to 13 hours lasts me a full day. Yesterday, I had about 13 hours of battery life, about 20% left at the end of the day. Now, all this is going to depend on your usage, so I'll let you know definitely what my battery life is as I use this phone more in the full review. And keep up with me on Twitter at SuperScientific, and I will definitely let you know about this battery life. Alright, well, this does it for me with the unboxing and extensive mini review of the G3. Let me know what you want to see in the full review and maybe some of the things that you want me to focus on. And make sure you follow me on Twitter at SuperScientific, obviously, because I hang out there a lot. You can ask me any questions that you want to. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more awesome content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.